When you think of Saudi Arabia, you probably picture two things, right? Massive oil fields and just unimaginable wealth. But behind that whole shimmering mirage of prosperity, there is a really unsettling truth. This kingdom, one of the richest on the entire planet, is missing nature's most essential gift: water.
And that paradox is really what this whole story is about today. I mean, imagine having a palace made of solid gold, but you only have 2 sips of water to drink. That is the exact challenge Saudi Arabia has been up against for decades. So it really makes you wonder, how is a nation with basically zero natural water building an artificial river that's even longer than the Nile?
Okay, so to really understand this incredible piece of engineering, we have to first get our heads around the absolute scale of the problem they're dealing with.
That's it. 0. That is the number of natural, permanent rivers in the entire country. Saudi Arabia is the largest nation on Earth with this, let's be honest, frankly terrifying distinction.
Now, you take that geography and you combine it with a population that just exploded from only 3 million people in 1950 to over 26 million today. What you get is this absolutely unsustainable pressure on their very, very limited water resources. So, where was their water coming from all this time? Well, for decades, the kingdom's answer was hidden right under their feet. It was a kind of underground treasure. But, just like any buried treasure, it was finite.
And this wasn't just your ordinary groundwater. No, this was fossil water, trapped underground for millions of years. And here's the most important part: it is non-renewable. Using it is exactly like draining a battery that you can never, ever recharge. Once it's gone, it is gone for good.
So what happened? Well, back in the 1970s, with the best of intentions, the government launched this massive project to grow their own wheat right there in the desert to achieve food security. But this plan had a catastrophic effect on their water supply. Fast forward to 2016, and a NASA report drops a bombshell. The kingdom's underground water reserves were vanishing at a rate of 2 cubic kilometers. That's 2 trillion liters, enough to fill 800,000 Olympic swimming pools every single year.
And the problem becomes crystal clear when you just look at the numbers. By 2003, a staggering 85% of that precious, irreplaceable fossil water was being poured into agriculture. The wheat project, it had to be shut down. They were draining their only battery, and they had to find a new power source fast.
So, faced with this massive crisis, Saudi Arabia didn't just look for a new solution. They decided to engineer a whole new reality for themselves.
This is the planned length of their new artificial river, a 12,000-kilometer network of enormous underground pipelines, all designed to carry water across the entire country. I mean, nothing on this scale has ever been attempted before.
And just to put that number in perspective for you, this 12,000-kilometer man-made river would be nearly twice the length of the River Nile. That is long enough to wrap around a pretty significant chunk of the entire planet.
But wait, if there are no rivers, where's all this water coming from? Well, the answer is pure technology: desalination. The plan is to take the endless salty water from the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf and turn it into billions of liters of fresh water every single day. So one of the main ways they do this is a process called multi-stage flash distillation. The concept is actually pretty simple. You boil water, collect the steam, and then condense it. But now imagine doing that in steel tanks the size of football fields. By moving the superheated water through chambers with lower and lower pressure, it just instantly flashes into steam, leaving all the salt behind. The other key technology is called reverse osmosis, and it's actually inspired by biology. With this method, they use immense pressure to force seawater through a microscopic membrane. The pores in this thing are so tiny that water molecules can get through, but salts, minerals, and even viruses get left behind. It's incredibly efficient. We're talking filtering out 99% of all impurities.
But creating an artificial river, solving a water crisis with technology like this, it always comes at a cost. And in this case, the price is being paid by the ocean itself. This is how much fresh water, in liters, this whole project is aiming to produce every single day. It's an absolutely astonishing number that's going to provide water for millions of people. But for every single liter of fresh water they make, something is left behind. This is the weight, in tons, of toxic, super concentrated salt waste, it's called brine, that gets created as a byproduct every single day. To put that number in perspective, it's the same as dumping the weight of 1,645 blue whales, the heaviest animal on Earth, back into the sea daily. And for years, that's exactly what was happening.
And the consequences are severe. This hot, ultra-salty brine, it raises the local sea temperatures, it poisons marine life, and it has created these huge dead coral zones in the Red Sea. It's a hidden environmental crisis born from the solution to a human one.
But the story doesn't end there. Recognizing the damage, Saudi Arabia is now innovating again, trying to find a way to secure its water future without destroying its own marine ecosystems.
So instead of just dumping the brine, they're developing new solutions. Things like deep-sea diffusers, which help spread out the brine over a much wider area to minimize its impact. And what's even more exciting is this idea of brine mining, literally extracting valuable minerals like magnesium and potassium from the waste and turning a dangerous pollutant into a profitable resource. This entire project, it's more than just infrastructure. It's a declaration of intent. The goal is to meet 100% of the nation's water needs this way by 2030. The network already holds a Guinness World Record. And get this, in a remarkable turn of events, the country with no rivers is going to host the World Water Forum in 2027.
Saudi Arabia's artificial river is a testament to human ingenuity, and it's also a stark warning about the consequences. It really shows just how far we're willing to go to reshape our world to meet our needs. And it leaves us with one last crucial question to think about. In our quest to survive and to prosper, can our technology really conquer geography? And what price are we ultimately willing to pay for that power?